Welcome back to Weekend Smile. So, can a 4-day work week actually work? Can it work in Jamaica? Those are good questions, right? So, we wanted to look at the pros and cons of this idea. So, we invited HR management and development consultant and CEO of Bold Consulting, Sharon Carruthers, to share her thoughts on the topic with us. Hi, Mrs. Carruthers. How are you?
Hi, I am fine,
Ms.
thank you.
Mrs. Carruthers. Can I call you Sharon?
Sure, you can.
Okay, good.
That's my name.
Sharon, we were just talking about this off air. Yeah, about this idea of a 4-day work week.
Yes.
And you were explaining to me, because what I was explaining to you sounded more like remote working. So let's identify the difference between both, the 4-hour work week and that of remote working.
Yeah, 4-day.
Right.
4-day, thank you. I keep saying
4
hours.
hours.
I like hours, right.
Okay, so typically in Jamaica, we work 40-hour work days. Without the lunchtime, that would be 35 hours. And so with the 4-day work week, you would be working 35 hours within 4 days, getting the same amount of work done.
Okay.
All right, so sorry, not the 35, you're working 28 hours
Okay.
without the lunchtime.
Yeah, because this is my math, so I'm going to call myself a number and then count.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good thing.
Yes.
All right, so you'd be working 28 hours for the week within 4 days, and you will have a 3-day weekend.
A 3-day weekend.
3-day weekend.
Do you think that this can actually work in Jamaica?
It is not for every organization.
Okay.
It will depend on the industry, it'll depend on the type of work, you know. Some lend itself better to this type of arrangement than others. So it goes back to the question that you were asking in terms of the difference between a 4-day work week and arrangements like remote work.
Yeah.
So what you will find is that there are a variety of flexible work arrangements that can be implemented in workplaces. And so the 4-day work week may not be able to work for all organizations in certain industries, critical services, that type of organization. But other types of flexible work arrangement would be able to. As we have seen through the recent pandemic, organizations have definitely implemented a range of flexible work arrangements.
So let's look at the advantages, Sharon, because, I mean, for the employee, we can obviously find the advantages of a 4-day work week. You know, you get 3 days weekend. We've always said, let's make Monday a weekend day.
Yes,
you know, or maybe there'll be a day between Sunday and Monday that can work, right? So we see the advantages, of course, because it gives the employee more time to recover, maybe do some personal, duties. But for the employer, what advantages would be found in a 4-day work week setup?
Okay, so first of all, what is very important for the 4-day work week to work, it is premised on advancements in technology, which allows employees to get the same amount of work done in less time. Okay. Right? So that is critical. And once that happens and the employees are in fact able to do more work in less time, and as you said, they are happier, they are realizing work-life balance, they are realizing less stress, and they are therefore more healthy. So at the end of the day, they have a happier worker and a more productive worker because both employees and employers are realizing recently that well-being of their employees is critical.
Yeah, definitely.
And that an employee who is overworked is less productive, right? So when they have the advantages of a happier, healthier, calmer, more satisfied employee, they have a more productive employee, and then they benefit from that. They are more productive.
Because burnout, I mean, a lot of people have found that burnout is a very real thing.
Absolutely.
And, we complain a lot about customer service in Jamaica, about what we get from, certain service providers in different, fields, etc. And it can be merited to them being overworked.
Absolutely.
They need a break.
Because they're overworked, overburdened. Yeah, absolutely.
Wow.
Absolutely. And so also with the 4-day work week, another advantage for the employer is with one day, more days, with the equipment not being used, the office resources not being used, they can save from that. They can be seen as an employer of choice because for the same reason, employers who put their employees first and will be prepared to enter into that type of arrangement to enable their employees to be more, to experience better work-life balance and healthy and so on. They want to work at with an employer like that.
Yeah, because flexibility is very important. I mean, but what also about loyalty and commitment of the workers to the employer?
There you go.
You don't have such a high turnover rate
There you
at all.
go.
That's
You said
something,
it.
right?
You said it. Absolutely, absolutely. When the employees are more satisfied, when they are healthier, they don't require as many sick leave days.
Okay.
Less absenteeism, less reasons to be absent because they can balance their business and they can be healthier.
What about the disadvantages now? Because of course, if you have advantages, I'm sure we must have some in the mix. So what about some of the advantages for the employer? And then we got to, some of
the disadvantages.
The challenges for the employers and the employees.
Right. So one of the disadvantages begins right where we began, where there's confusion about the 4-day work week versus flexi work and other types of arrangement. There's that confusion. And with that confusion, implementing it could be a little difficult. What you find is that it's being implemented in some places, but some employers will compensate for 5 days, even though employees are working for 4. Others will compensate only for the 4 days.
Okay.
And so with that kind of confusion and with that type of, variation, it can lend itself to dissatisfaction. It can lend itself to some persons not really thinking it is in their favor to enter into such a type of an arrangement. Another disadvantage could be the fact that employees believe that they may lose out. The same confusion, it's in the eyes of the employees as well.
Okay.
So they may fear that they will be required to carry out the same amount of work in the 4 days, although it should be in less time. And so they fear being overburdened, and then they're not so sure they want such an arrangement. They're not so sure that will happen. So that's the confusion is a big one, both for the employers and the employee. So other disadvantage with any change, there's going to be resistance.
I was going to ask about that because we have a mindset shift that must happen in the Caribbean. We're so used to seeing people in the office to think that it's a direct, it's a direct thing to our productivity. You know what I mean?
Hours?
Yeah, man. So once I see you in the office, it means that you are there and you're doing work and you're being productive.
Right.
Something that COVID has actually shown us is that people can stay at home and be very productive, maybe even more productive.
So they get more work done and so they can work less hours.
So for the implementation of this 4-day work week, it's a mindset shift that has to happen, right?
Definitely. We have to get away from focusing on presence and hours in office and focus on output and productivity.
Exactly. But Sharon, I mean, with the advantages and the disadvantages, and we're looking at both, can it actually work? Can it work, you know?
Yeah. It can.
Okay.
But like I said, it's not for every organization, every industry. Where it can work, however, it has to be premised on the technological capabilities of the organization so that the employees are in fact able to do the same amount of work in the 4 days.
Okay.
It is critical. So for it to work, that's an essential, all right? And for it to work, there also needs to be, it requires a lot of logistical working out and so forth. It requires that, but it can work because it is in fact being implemented across the states, Europe,
we've seen
so on, effectively. But as I said, some companies, it's not for all companies. So some companies have tried it and it has failed because of the fact that they did not ensure that they have the technological capabilities.
Right.
And
it takes some strategizing.
Exactly. And it takes change management.
Exactly.
Because you can have the technical side of it all worked out, but then if you don't address the people side, because people resist change, what's in it for me? You know,
and then
the fear.
Understanding what this 4-day work week actually is.
Exactly. So
anyways,
it will be critical to have change management
Sharon, let me tell you something. I think it would actually help us with all these strikes that are happening. But, you know, as you rightly said, it's going to take some work. And I'm hoping that one day we'll be open enough to, you know, make that change. But I thank you so much for your time and for giving us this information. Thank you so much for being here with us.
You're most welcome. And just quickly, it's also in Jamaica. Grace Kennedy tried it. And they have implemented it.
Well,
Just had to edge
Thank
that
you,
in.
Auntie Sharon. All right. Thank you so much to HR Management and Development Consultant and CEO of Bold Consulting, Sharon Carruthers, for her insight. It's time to take a break, guys. Soon come back. Don't worry, we're going to be here when you come back.